Friends, welcome back to the Film Alchemist podcast, the show where we take the movies we love, break them apart to find out what gives them their magic. I'm your host, Josh Griffey, joined as always by my friend, co-host, and guy who can definitely be bought.
Oh, Alex Dandino, 1,000%.
Yeah, we might be the wrong guys to ask this question. Neither here nor there.
Yes.
Yeah. Before today's wonderful pod, a couple notes. Everyone, please go to our Patreon, patreon.com/filmalchemistpod. The best way to support the show. The best way to get the most out of the show. The best way to help us grow the show, guys. We appreciate it. We have a huge Patreon exclusive library of wonderful episodes over there. You will get to vote on the episodes that join that catalog. You can have us do a double feature for you. We have commentaries, miniseries, all manner of wonderful things over there, right? So if you could be so kind, head on over to patreon.com/filmalchemistpod. We appreciate it. The YouTube Film Alchemist, the email filmalchemistpod@gmail.pod. Filmalchemistpod, not prod. Filmalchemistpod@gmail.com. I may have been having some beers and watching the football games. Filmalchemistpod@gmail.com. Make sure you're leaving 5-star ratings and reviews. Wherever you find the pod. That helps us defeat the algorithm. We're on all the socials. Did I do that one? We're on socials. Yeah. Also, if you want to see stuff that we're working on.
now, too.
Yeah, and TikTok, dude. Yeah, people like the Jeremy Renner's naked butt stuff on TikTok, dude.
It is a good butt.
That was a lesson. Yeah, good butt, good vid.
You learn new things every day.
Yeah. So welcome to the talk, dude. Also, guys, go to check out misfitparade.net if you want to see some film stuff that we're working on. All right. We're here. It's the last of our New Year's resolutions. Alex, I'll say this. I was watching the movie, and I remembered our theme was New Year's resolutions. I don't know what the resolution is that you had in mind when you chose Indecent Proposal. So I'd like to start the conversation off there.
So...
just to whore your wife. That's the resolution. To see if Andrea can make you some money on the side. Is that the resolution?
To be fair, I picked this movie for this particular purpose because the bit for me was side hustles. Other avenues of making money.
There you go. Okay, see, that makes perfect sense.
Pick up a side hustle.
So we are talking today about Indecent Hustle, the Adrian Lyne film.
For those of you in the know, what you need is passive income in this life. Money that you don't have to do much.
Well, let's start here with Indecent Proposal, right? For those of you who it's been a while, right? This is an Adrian Lyne movie, so sexy 90s.
I would love to meet the person who watches this routinely. Not the been a while thing.
There are a couple reasons you would maybe put this on rotation. I don't know. But here's the basic setup. Woody and Demi Moore met in high school, starting their young life, right?
Yeah.
They want to go a step further. Woody Harrelson wants to build this dream weirdo L.A. house, right? So they buy beachfront property.
In Santa Monica.
In Santa Monica in the 90s, which every mortal should know is not for normals.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, things go tits up. They're going to lose the house.
Oliver
they
Platt
have no money, no jobs. They borrow $5,000 from Woody's dad. The great grand plan is to go to Vegas. This is the part of the film I completely forgot, is that they weren't going for Vegas for pleasure.
No.
But to turn his dad's $5,000 into $50,000 so they don't lose everything, which is the wildest and fucking dumbest thing you have to accept in this movie. It immediately is such a hard fucking pill to swallow.
This is the one where you're like, this is the one I have to suspend reality.
And not only that, the fact that they then have to start doing that every month, it's just not a well thought out idea. Neither here nor there. This culminates in them finding rich billionaire gambling addictor and collector Robert Redford, who sees Demi Moore just crushing chocolates, and he's like, I got to put my dingus in that. Starts this kind of, not even cat and mouse, more just I don't even know what you'd call it, right? Fucking lion and injured dead
I'd
hippo.
Call it lecherous, lusting after a thing he wants.
Well, that's fine. It's all good. And then, we get to the titular Indecent Proposal. Here is the most interesting part watching this movie today. So let's start here. The economics of this movie have shifted so wildly beneath it that I do wonder what happens if, like, a young person, like, let's say an 18-year-old couple right now were to see this movie for the first time. We're like, we've never seen this. Okay, we like Las Vegas, and they turned it on. The economics of this film have changed as such. Let's just run through. $1 million is not buying you a beachfront property anywhere anymore.
Not even close.
Right? We live in the world of OnlyFans, Instagram modeling.
Yeah.
Whatever, right? You can go on the hub, and there's just a whole category of porn stars that will have sex with their fans. Essentially for free. You just have to be in the fan club, right? Win a prize, you get in the videos. So you're banging like professionals for that. Here's the question. Here's the question in the day we're in. Do you think you know anyone who's not like a hardcore religious person? The kind of person that would not watch an Adrian Lynn movie with fucking on the kitchen floor. That would say, no, sir, you can't have sex with my spouse for one night for $1 million.
Do I know anyone?
Do you know anyone? Well, let's say we're both married. I asked Amy this question, and she's like, yeah, we're doing it. And I said, yes, we're doing it. I'm assuming you guys the same.
Yeah.
$1 million is not like change your life forever money now, but it's lock you down pretty good money.
There's obviously, like, I asked Andrea.
Oliver Platt even was like, we could have got two.
Oliver Platt coming in for the rescue, man.
There you go. The Platt.
I forgot Oliver Platt was in this movie. I'm like, God damn, dude. We do this all the time. We always forget Oliver Platt's in a movie, and then he just shows up like, oh, saved.
And every time he shows up, you're like, he's the best thing in the movie.
He's the best thing in this movie.
I worship Oliver Platt. Again, we come back to the question. Do you think anyone in today's world who's not a hardcore religious person, right? And even honestly, I bet a ton of insurrectionists are taking this deal, first off.
There's a lot of January 6th people who are on board.
I mean, they believe in God first, but also it's
this
is God providing the bag.
See, I would go further than, like,
okay, so Christian people, but Christian people who aren't into fucking like Joel Osteen, right? Prosperity, wealth, or whatever. So you have like the percentage of people that are not doing this is so fucking sliver small.
Yes, this is the problem. It does not factor into life in the 21st century. Like this question. At all. Period. Not just because of the amount of money that is like required to pay like the note on the house, like on the property itself. Not just because of that, but also because there's just like, I don't know, 5 or 6 different other avenues. You could do Feet Finder, you could do OnlyFans. Like there's a ton of other options to make money besides the completely steel trap idea of going to Vegas to beat the odds and beat the house and win the money.
Ridiculous. I mean, they could probably make $1 million just filming them fucking on the kitchen floor while the underwear is on fire.
Absolutely.
That is the problem of this movie is that, the world has shifted beneath them. And sex is just cheaper, I guess, than it was in the 90s. This movie works for me if you're like, I want to fuck your wife for $10,000 tonight.
I had a friend over who I was talking with this about, like what the basic logic problems of this film are in 2023. This movie's 30 years old now. This movie came out in 93, which is terrifying. I don't know about
this was also in the era when like Disney made a movie where a kid got $1 million and bought a mansion and an FBI agent kissed him on the mouth.
Right, exactly.
So $1 million was a much more mystical number than it used to be.
93 is one of the 93 is also one of those. Again, it's early 90s, and we're all not on the level of logic really. Like we're coming out of like Greed is Good 80s and all that shit. Like we're not functioning. The year this, by the way, the April that this came out, this movie like made crazy money. It was one of the top grossing films of the year. It made $260 million off a $38 million budget. The month it came out, it was number one next to like I think the second highest grossing movie of the month was Cop and a Half with Burt Reynolds. Like, this thing.
The classic cop and young kid genre.
So
what a time. What a great time.
Again, like, the logic of 1993 dictates such bizarrity, which isn't a word, but I'm using it anyways. I think that it's a hard pill to swallow now, so you just have to take the ride. And yeah, it's like a super horny Adrian Lynn style ride where everybody's just sort of like, you know, everyone's going to put their dick in the dirt and see what happens. It's a really strange, bizarre journey.
Well, it starts off with these two like dueling monologues. It's like, I thought we were invincible. And Woody's like sad on a dock, and then she's like, they say if you set something free and it comes back to you, then it really loves you. And I was like, whatever. The hilarious thing is that's the start of the movie, right? Is like, it just didn't work out. So, like, let us know the proposal was truly indecent, I guess. Because everyone in the audience is like, I'm not going to have $1 million. Right? I'll take a fucking $1 million. Here's the thing.
The idea is
the movie specifically ends, spoilers, with them coming back together and having secured the property. So, in the end, they just got everything they wanted, and she essentially got to live as a billionaire for, like, 2 months.
Yeah.
And he learned to stop putting his fucking muddy shoes on the table. So I would say, all in all, this fucking worked out pretty rock solid for them.
I was gonna say the cool.
Yes, did they spend $1 million on Billy Connolly's Hippo? Yes, but that property is worth so much money that I think it's gonna all work out in the end.
I was gonna say, like, the movie does present a peculiar lesson, which is quite frankly like. Maybe you make $1 million by getting banged. Who knows? It's just
what the movie really says is like the billionaire's 100% right. Everyone can be bought.
Yeah,
because at the end when they're trying to sit there and say, "Oh, they can't be bought," they turned the money down. They gave it to a hippo. And it's like, no, he paid $1 million in a grandiose, stupid gesture. Yeah. So in a way, she got bought for $1 million twice in the film. So she can 100% be bought.
The movie is, again, it's the 90s. The movie has very little to say about feminism and Demi Moore's place in this whole thing, other than she, takes a stand once to, like, tell him to, like, shove it when she, like, throws all that fettuccine Alfredo on the guy from Office Space. It is a weird sort of. Again, the movie just, like, kind of.
Well, I would say that it's
kind of like
mostly
pickleball's logic back and forth. It's very strange.
I don't think they play her as a not feminist character. The issue is they do this. She's like, yeah, I'm going to sleep with you. Because they do play because the scenes in Vegas are fun, right?
Yeah.
There's all this going on. She's stealing chocolates, right? They're trying to fucking win the thing. I was like, she's in Vegas with her husband, so she is equally complicit in this stupidity, right? Because we've already seen her attack him and almost burn their house down over laundry. She could have said, Woody, I know you woke up at 2:30 in the morning. This is the dumbest fucking plan ever.
We never saw that rag, by the way. We never saw that rag, like, really catch on fire, and it was driving me nuts.
Yeah,
it was like
they'll shut you down, dude. Fire marshal will shut you down.
The one note that I saw. The one
you didn't like that they just had a steamer under the underwear?
The note that I had at the very beginning of the movie was like, these people are irresponsible. Absolutely. Of course they'd go to Vegas.
Yeah, wildly irresponsible. Because she does hit him. She cracks his ass. And then they kind of laugh about, are we fine? Awesome fucking pound town.
Let me eat your ass on the floor. Perfect.
Yeah. And I was like, it's a pretty good deal. I'd take a couple thumps in the head to fucking do that too.
See, this is like, there's a few scenarios in this movie that happen. You're like, what would it take for that? Like, would you allow your wife to hit you in the head if you got to, like,
yes,
rim job later?
Yes.
Yeah, of course, sure. That's fine.
Yes.
There's many.
I'm not married to Amanda Nunes. Of course I'm doing that. Let's go.
Like, because I think that's, like, the more. This is like this. These are the scenarios the movie keeps presenting. Are those? Would you do that? Would you do that? What about
you? The problem is always yes, right? Because what we see is that Woody outkicked his coverage a ton when he was young. right? Like, he happened to get Demi Moore when they just
And
did
this
the
is
thing
like
where they're like,
super
give her
handsome
braces and
Woody
bangs,
Harrelson.
and she'll look 12 years old. She's like, in the back of the car in that first scene. So
Oh
you're
my
like,
God.
Woody invested early,
Both
right?
of them with the shittiest wigs.
Yeah,
ever
he got the
created
first
for
Santa Monica
television
property
film.
that just blossomed in value, right? Which was Demi Moore. And then he's willing to gamble that, right? But they're in Vegas, they're gambling, and I love this part because there's like 5 times where they stop and it's like, should we? Shouldn't we? They could have left 18 times, right? They flip a coin in the diner when they're busted. It says go home. They don't. They keep pushing it. So we see that they're here to keep pushing it. There's that wild scene where Woody's like switching the chips from black to red, which is 1,000% a no-no in Vegas.
Yeah, I was going to say,
and
that was
fucking
another
cracked
thing
if
that
you
I
did
was
that.
like, none
But-
of this happens ever in Vegas. Not only that, when they lose, she goes to switch the chips again. I'm like, they would have just kicked you out of the casino. Like,
Yeah, you are not allowed to touch a chip that hits the table.
Yeah. Scooch.
But, right? Also, I'm like, so they got chips and then they went and turned it into cash so they could fuck on it. And then they went and handed in all these fucking jizz crumpled hundreds the next day so they could get money to like chips to live. Neither here nor there.
That shot in the morning when they're awake and you just see like some of the dollar bills are just kind of like, oh, that has like
Just
butt
sprays for
flavor
days on
and
those.
definite sprays
They're
all
probably
over it.
more valuable in Vegas. Some guy's like, hey, are them pussy hundreds? I'll have them. I'll give you 200 for that pussy 100. Yeah. And then some guy in the back of the diner is like, I've got a briefcase full of cash. I wait for this exact moment every day. Give me them and the fire undies and I'm in. Yeah.
Money here. This smells good to me.
Yeah. No, I mean, but again, it's bizarre.
The poor
Woody
cashier.
so outkicked his coverage.
poor
Demi
cashier.
Moore is so fucking
She's
insanely
crazy hot.
world class
Attractive.
The sexuality oozes from the camera. Like
I feel like
it
early
like
night-
was a wave in my living. I was like, Jesus H.
I feel like
'Cause
early
that's the thing,
90s
Demi Moore was never like weirdly the hottest or the most I was ever attracted to Demi Moore was G.I. Jane. Like I had a real thing when I was a kid. It was this VHS I had. I can't remember what it was, but they had the G.I. Jane trailer. And I just remember watching her like do push-ups and pull-ups like way more than I should have. Like I was really into it. I was very young and like working something out, but I was like, oh, dude.
This is going to sound weird for me. Few Good Men. I don't know why.
Oh, yeah, you like that strict by the books one. We all have our Demi Moore.
We all have our
archetype,
Demi Moore
yeah.
that we like.
But G.I. Jane was the one for me, and it's just like, I think I was just a little young, so like I was never in the Demi Moore as a like sex icon to me.
We grew up
I
at a
watched
very
this and
different
I was
time for
like,
that.
Jesus fucking
She's
Christ.
so hot.
But again, no matter how insanely world class hot she is, no matter how fucking cool she seems the whole movie, she seems fucking incredibly cool. So like, if this was your wife you had gathered in high school, yes, you outkicked your coverage. The thing is, when the guy comes and offers you all, because that's the thing, the guy essentially is like, hey, can I borrow your wife to play 10,000 chips? Like, if your fucking red flags are not tripped there, this is the fucking line. This is the Trojan horse.
It's the way he says it. Like, I think that is the key component.
What do the
here. It's
kids
like,
say? Riz? Like, dripping with Riz.
It's 57-year-old Robert Redford, who, by the way, at 57
It's awesome because
is
there's chunky Billy Joe.
chubby Billy Bob Thornton right there. It's
Yeah,
like,
Billy
you
Bob
think she'll
Thornton's
come
like,
back?
I bet he's drowning in puss. Sorry, don't mean to offend you. 10 seconds later, Woody's like, yeah, go play with the billionaire.
And then he's like, you think she'll come back?
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, asshole, thank you.
Well,
But,
here,
like,
okay, because here's the thing.
he walks up to her and he's like, "Can I borrow your wife?" Like with like and cuts it off like a fart, and he's like,
Yeah.
"For luck," and I'm like, "Okay, guy,
Yeah.
okay, that
this
was a
is the
little
thing.
on the nose."
No one is stupid enough to see the crowd gathered right there. And this is the thing. You're not battling against Robert Redford's amazingly young, virile, veiny dick.
No,
You're battling
57-year-old.
You're battling those fucking $10,000 golden chips. You're battling a briefcase of a $1 million bet.
Yeah,
And this is the thing. I don't know if the movie's a little too romantic for its own good in a weird way. No one is letting their wife gamble with that guy, right? Because you're like, there's no way. Because this is the other fact of the movie, right? This is kind of a hard pill to swallow. There's a lot of wives and husbands that in this, like, let's say this movie had Roseanne in it. And Roseanne's like, hey, can I borrow your husband? And Amy'd be like, and I'd be like, yeah, I'll do it. Like, I'm in. There is just a world where, like, you start hanging out with a billionaire and you're like, you know what? Being fucking kept like a pet is pretty awesome. I'll be Roseanne's fucking houseplant. Like, that's fine. Right. She can just come in and spray water on me whenever she wants.
Sure.
And that's the life I lead now. I sit on a stool in the corner waiting for her to water me. Cool. It's awesome to be a billionaire, right? And get a little stupid paper umbrella. Like, I'm into this life, right? And so that's what you're battling. When Woody Harrelson didn't stop him in that moment, when that guy says, wow, your wife's pretty cool, I'm going to buy you a room and send her up a fucking look at my titties dress. If you don't win the fight there, they had already made this decision in their mind, right?
Yeah,
they got bought. They got bought for way less than $1 million. They got bought for a comped suite and a fucking couple $1,000 dress.
Which, if they had won, they would have gotten for free, anyways. I think that the really, again, Robert Redford is so fucking hot, dude. Like, he's
okay. So Amy was
years
like,
old in this
Robert
movie.
Redford gross, and I was like, how dare you?
What, Amy? For shame.
For shame. Sorry. I was like, for a lecherous billionaire, that's like the best it would ever get.
Like,
you'd rather be with like newly injected Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, right.
Come on, Elon Musk. No, I'm taking fucking Gage all day, dude.
If you look around that Baccarat table, like if you look around that table and it's penis-shaped Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, who just invented the Cybertruck,
full of Cracker Barrel gravy, Elon Musk,
right? And then,
or I'm happy to now be a real boy, but it's complicated. Mark Zuckerberg, no,
yeah,
you're fucking taking Gage, dude.
You're taking John Gage, who is the hottest fucking dude at that table at 57.
He's the hottest dude in this movie.
Years old.
By a lot.
He was so hot. Like, he is so, and like, it's not.
Yeah, I would probably be paying him.
Yeah, and he's fucking loaded. He's like.
But that's the thing. Woody lost the fight before it even started. His indignation is ridiculous.
That scene,
like, one of the wildest things in this movie is watching Woody Harrelson form righteous indignation and chase back to that.
It's really strange.
Like it's
beyond
crazy.
So after, okay, first off, I gotta give a shout out to Adrian Lynn for this absurd tension in the gambling scene after she like starts hanging around. He's like, not your game. Why didn't you say so? And I'm like, craps is her game.
Yeah.
Like, this is, are we really, like, so she she kisses the dice, tosses it, because they bring out the $1 million. They do this whole thing, and the pit boss is sitting there like sweating bullets.
Oh, dude,
I'm like,
when he squeezes the cup.
I'm like,
I love that because I was like, that's a visual foreshadowing of what he's about to do to this dude's wife. It's so fucking amazing.
I fucking love the pit
For
boss.
$1 million, I am spraying creamer on everybody.
The pit boss squeezes his coffee out of the cup because I'm like, wait a second, are you upset that you just lost $1 million? There's some ding dong on a slot machine who's going to give that back to you in, I don't know, probably 20 minutes.
Do you not know what Las
Do you
Vegas
not know
is,
what
Pitcock?
casinos are?
Do you assume that these billionaires lose a bunch?
Yeah.
That's why they're billionaires.
That's one of those things where I was like watching and I was like, I've watched Casino, my friend. You will make that money back. Do not worry.
Yeah, he had already lost that money before he went and won it. Neither here nor there.
Either way, the squeezing of the coffee cup is hilarious.
Woody's indignation is the hardest pill to swallow, right? Because he does
I
this.
think that's the part
the thing about the movie that is really bizarre is that they set it up, and I don't know why they did this. I'm thinking this is like we got to make it cool and a little more okay for the ladies, is they set it up to where Demi Moore is the one who pushes it in bed. She's like, I think we should talk about it. Because he's like, I'd tell you to go to hell. You don't get to sleep with my wife. And he's like, cool, you guys won. Enjoy your hotel suite that you bag in that I probably have cameras and microphones all over. Neither here nor there. That's how this would really play nowadays. He would just have a fucking, OnlyFans suite that he rents out to hot young couples from wherever. But essentially,
that's somehow
the one who
tackier
presses
than that hotel room.
She's pressing it, and he's like, well, I don't know. And she's like, I do it for you. Okay, they go through with it, and Woody chases it down because Oliver Platt's like, I'd pay to fuck your wife. This is great. Like, well, I could have got $2 million. In an amazing, awesome scene. He runs up to the helipad and is like, no! As if she probably didn't see him and was like, oh, that's sweet. I do love the tension of this shot, like when they drop her off.
Mm-hmm.
Very well constructed scene, right? Anyways, Redford gets her out on a yacht in Santa Barbara by helicopter. He hits her with the old double fucking titty coin. Whatever happens, happens. This is the last part of the movie that I think really works in any kind of constructive way. Because when they get back to Los Angeles, it's as if they forget they have $1 million. What they say is they're like, oh, you lost your property, right? We find out that Gage bought the property. You have $1 million, a nice house. You're both young. It's fine. But they don't ever enjoy that they have $1 million. And this is the part of the movie that fucking is hard to suffer and drives me a little crazy. Is Woody Harrelson now is just like a fucking raging maniac who's like fucking looks like he's going to hit Demi Moore. He's breaking shit. And he's like, I want to know. He's just like, was the sex good? And you're like, yeah, he's a billionaire cocksmith. Yeah, he's a billionaire,
I'm sure he's a billionaire, and he's the most handsome dude in the whole place. Yeah, it was great.
And the only thing that works, I mean, Demi Moore even looks hot. There's a scene where she's just bringing in vegetables, and her sundress is like lifted up thigh high. And I was like, God damn it. How can you not pause for a moment? This is the man who's like just been eating good for too long. He doesn't understand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Neither here nor there. He starts going in on her, right? And she, at one point, is like, hey, man, I went and talked to Gage. He doesn't even listen. He's fucking smashing the wine, whatever. She's like, thanks for listening, David. That's really fucking cool of you. This is the part of the movie that's hard to suffer. Woody Harrelson now knows there's a literal fucking valuation on his wife's pussy, and it is $1 million. The valuation on your dick is fucking $0. So the balance has shifted, my man. You have to fucking be cool. And he starts grilling her, and she has this great moment where she's like, if I say I didn't like it, I'm a liar. If I say it was the best fuck of my life, you won't believe me. There's no way I can win.
Right.
And she's just like, yeah, the sex was fine. Whatever. And he starts, you were attracted to him. You wanted it. And I was like, oh, yeah, she was attracted to the super fucking handsome billionaire who gave her $1 million. No shit, dude.
I think the thing about this
she still came home with you.
Because what you're talking, the sequence of events, like this big fight they have kind of that like forces her to sort of walk out, is precipitated by the weirdest like indignation. Because, you know, like the normal indignation Woody Harrelson has in this movie, you're just like, oh yeah, this guy fucked my wife and now I'm like totally emasculating. Yeah, I get it, man. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Congratulations, you have $1 million.
He's not a full cuck. He's like, yeah, he's a cuck in his imagination.
Yeah. But like the way he gets to that like argument and the anger he feels is he starts rifling through her fucking purse and then finds the guy's business card in, quote, the secret compartment. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Think about the logic.
Buried behind the high school picture of them.
Yeah, I'm like, think about the logic of this before you start like arguing with your wife about her fucking Robert Redford. You rifled through your wife's shit and then found his business card in this secret compartment.
Did you keep a business card that's essentially a lifeline to $1 million whenever we need it? Yeah.
And he like says, like, yeah, I found it in the secret compartment. I'm like, yeah, okay. So
she's like, well, honey, I kept it for the next time you want to build a Ripley's Believe It or Not house. Maybe I'll have to go back to the Golden Dick and get us another down payment.
The basic architecture of that house looks exactly like this one house we shot a season of Swing, that Playboy show I worked on in L.A. And I was just like, I'm glad it didn't get built.
I was like, maybe it's time to realize you suck.
Maybe you're a bad architect. Yeah. And maybe you just take your $1 million and
big fucking dumb house with no walls and just all windows so you can see Demi Moore and sunlight everywhere. Whatever.
Give your money to Oliver Platt. Let him invest it for you and move on.
This is the thing. There's no world where they didn't talk about this. She came back with you. Yes, she kept the card or he gave her the card. Dude, that is $1 million on the line.
$1 million.
Down the road, when you grow the fuck up and you're like, hey, I'm actually okay with this. Maybe you should just never have a career again.
Being a
and
cut
whenever
by your
you
own
feel
admission.
like you want,
like,
yeah, when you feel like you're ready, because it kind of gets back to this, like maybe he met her in high school where the dynamics had shifted. And he just can't accept that the valuations have changed. Fine.
But they
I get
talked
it. He's
about
an
how,
immature,
like,
childish guy. He puts his fucking muddy shoes on the table. We know Woody's a dipshit, right?
yeah.
She has the card, so what? That's fucking money on
cares?
call, brother.
Yeah.
And it's this bizarre... His indignation is fucking crazy to me. Because, again, he knows he can't compete. He knows he can't. You cannot compete with the billionaire wife or life. Because what you would do, and this is what me and Amy were talking about, I was like, what you would do is you would just go be Robert Redford's concubine or whatever, and then whenever he's doing business, which would be all the time, you come back to our fucking goofy Believe It or Not house, and we just plow and have the exact same life. It's fine.
It's fine.
If you set something free and it goes and wants to become a billionaire's girlfriend, then maybe that's what was meant to be. Maybe it wasn't true love to begin with. Who knows? Would I begrudge Amy if she's like, you know what, I kind of just like, I'm not that interested in, paycheck to paycheck life anymore. I think I'm going to go be like taken care of. I'd be like, yeah, that fucking seems great.
Yeah.
I wish my old ass balls were worth $1 million. That seems amazing. Good luck
If
with
somebody offered Andrea $1 million to like, and like, it's never even, it's not, if it's, and it's not even a thing where it's like, we'll just see where the night goes. Like, I just want to spend the night with your wife. It's not even presumed that they, like, Woody Harrelson jumps to the conclusion that they fuck. Like,
it's
that
written
is,
into the
like,
contract that the money comes even if they don't.
Yeah. It's in the contract no matter what.
If he doesn't come, the money still comes. That's written into the contract.
He just wants an evening with his wife. If Andrea was offered $1 million, which even $1 million for us now is a lot of money, obviously. In 2023, $1 million is still a lot of money.
Appreciate. I mean, it doesn't ball out like it does in this movie. $1 million is a massive amount of money.
I mean, that's a lot of cash you can take out of the bank and then roll around on the bed in. You know, like,
oh god, yeah, dude.
You only had 20. They only had 25,000 the first time they did that. Why would you not do that with $1 million? Like, there's an opportunity to reignite the passion and not feel like a total loser if you want to. But I got to be honest, I don't think I'd feel like a loser if someone said, "Hey, I'll give you $1 million if I could just spend the evening with your wife."
There's that weird moment where they fuck the morning after, and he like wipes the lipstick off of her. It's like, oh,
so much lipstick.
They should know. We should have seen that sex.
Yeah.
To be like, is it still good? And if they're still on, what's the Again, she comes home with you, dude. Yeah. They did this. You're the one who fucking. I thought we weren't going under $5,000. You're the one who fucking kept moving the chips and lost the money. Yeah. Your wife goes out and she says, I can solve this fucking problem. For one night with an old-ass man. And the idea that he's like in the horse racing lounge and he's like seeing her riding this old man. Dude, I don't care how good at fucking this guy is. He's like 60 years old. Yeah. Like, come on. Come on, dude. It's basic biology. Who fucking cares? Watching him like chase her out of his life is the wildest part of the movie. It's insane. Like they sat there in bed and talked about this and they didn't come to the eventuality. And again, at the end of the movie, they kind of get back to this where he's like, I was afraid he was a better man. You're like, he is.
I'll tell you what's more embarrassing.
He is a better man, right? He's nicer to her the whole movie.
Yeah.
He takes care of her. He doesn't fucking leave. Like shoes on the table, muddy baseball cleats on the table is like an underrated art department choice.
This is the thing that
I mean, that is fucking insanity. Have you ever seen anyone who puts muddy fucking shoes on a table?
If you put your shoes on the table with mud on them, you are actually a garbage person.
Like if there was an art department Oscar, that should be it for narrative stories because that is fucking bizarre.
I think the thing that I don't the logic that I don't understand here. And this is the part that I think makes the movie not as interesting. Because I do think the first, 45 minutes of this movie.
The midpoint is the fucking, and it's awesome.
Yeah, the 45 minutes of this movie are really interesting. Like, when you get to the evening, after that, in the aftermath, they don't like. There's not a very good like aftermath situation. Like, I don't think anything that happens after they spend the night together really works for a lot of it. You just get to the end, you're like,
I like the idea that Gage has bought the property.
Sure.
And that now, because they let him in, he's going to become this mercurial force, right, being mischievous in their affairs.
Yeah, like, if you want to be a shitty person, like, I'm fine with that. I think
fine.
The thing is...
But this is the wild thing. They make Robert Redford this amazing guy.
And that's what I was going to say. This is the problem. Like, the problem with the movie is, and I think this is because, look, if you're looking at the landscape of filmmaking in 1993, Robert Redford is still Robert Redford. And, like, I think the only time Robert Redford's been, like, a bad guy in a movie at this point in our lives has been, like, a Marvel movie. I've never seen Robert Redford be a bad guy in anything else. Yeah. So to make Robert Redford a lecherous, shitty version of Jay Gatsby, which is Jay Gatsby, by the way. I don't know why I'm, like, qualifying that. But to make him a garbage person, like a garbage rich person, I think is a hard pill for Americans to swallow in 1993. So what they do is try to make him, like, super sympathetic. And
yeah, he's noble. At the end, he invents the $1 million
the nobility
club
that we see is like, this is hidden under the guise of he totally wanted to just fuck this guy's wife for the rest of his life. Like, and that's his business.
And he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Every guy who was walking past Demi Moore in that casino wanted to fuck her and fuck this dude's wife. They just didn't have money to pay for it. But what they do is when they give him that scene where he invents the $1 million club, him and his cabbie, who, by the way, just blows it with the worst yes and ever. Remember that waitress in Oklahoma that got the hiccups every time you guys were together? And Robert Redford's like, God damn it. And he has to yes and off of it. And he's like, you fucking idiot.
Yes,
that's why you drive the car.
Thank you for that, Shackelford.
Yes, Shackelford. Remembering your young life where you had a hiccup fetish. That exactly happened in one of the dozens of dicks I've slinged.
Makes me laugh so hard with that old bit. I was like, what is that?
It's ridiculous because then she kisses him and says, thank you, John. And the very next thing he does is hand her his I'm a huge fucking liar coin. That show, because he's like, we'll flip the coin. If you win, we'll go back. We won't fuck. If I win, we'll see what happens. So they hand him the fucking seeds of his deceit. And she's like, what a great, sweet old man. I'm going to get on the fucking bus.
Making a billionaire who trades in human misery like he did any sort of sympathetic is a very hard pill to swallow for a story.
Yeah, so, I mean, he is a fucking, like, to be fair, what this guy is he saw this down on their luck couple.
Yeah.
And he fucking pounced. And we do, the part of the movie that works is this: everyone can be bought. Demi Moore's like, I can't be bought, right? That vibe works really well. He's like, let's put that to the test. He does buy her. Because what they do on the boat is Robert Redford starts planting this seed, right? Mm-hmm. That their marriage is wrong. Because if you were mine, I wouldn't share you. It kind of eschews the very basic point that if they weren't about to lose everything to the crippling economic recession which people like Robert Redford create.
Yes.
There's no fucking universe where she probably does this. She probably is okay. It's kind of hard to then just put on them like, oh, she would do this all the time. Now I think everyone would do this all the time. I think we would all be into this. But the movie sets up this kind of false battle
in
for the second half.
There's just other avenues to make extra scratch.
Right.
So,
she could make way more money just on like Instagram.
Yeah.
The problem is that the movie sets up it's Woody Harrelson's fault for sharing her.
Which I think
it's like it's taking agency away from her. Like she didn't make the choice.
To me, that is very specifically that is an archaic thought from the 90s when we're still in this, religion and God and how like the more, let's say not archaic, it's the wrong word, but the more, I would say the more. No, that's caveman bullshit. That is like I had to own my wife. Sorry, that's a great way to put it. Caveman bullshit.
That's caveman bullshit. I need to own my wife. And I'm like, no, if my wife wants to go fucking pound a 68-year-old get $1 million, and then she comes home and she's like, hey, just so you know, I love you and the life we built together, but I don't have to fucking work 40 hours a week anymore, and I can secure our future. I'm going to do this once a year until this old guy dies. I'd be like, all right, that seems like you're making a good life choice, right? The thing that we should value most in our life is our time. And if she can turn her fucking, 40-hour-a-week hard fucking career into one night on a yacht.
It's a pretty good deal.
With a guy who this guy's like Joe Biden age. So we're talking like bedtime by 6:30 p.m. Perfect. This is a great deal.
I think what's amazing is she still goes back to him even after like he confronts them when they're outside that like gallon, he just whiffs a punch.
He's like, I've been researching dodo birds, and it's like, this is the least attractive moment.
This is so not hot, dude. Like, did you really think this was going to be the part where she'd like come running back? You're going to talk about dodo birds and then whiff a punch on this billionaire who will have you thrown in jail for whatever he wants.
Demi Moore's going to be like the kids on TikTok, like, oh, damn, on God! And just like walk with him in the rain. Like,
yeah, she just shouts like,
Here's
world
a
star,
in that
and then
moment.
walks away.
World star, and Woody Harrelson. So Shackelford just takes him straight back to his address, which I don't know how they all know.
Walks him home, keel hauls him into bed.
He sees the pictures ripped up, taped back together, and he smiles. Why is Shackelford smiling in that moment? Is he about to rub his dick on his face and we just don't see it? Or is he like, oh, true love could still win? Was Shackelford the Woody Harrelson from back in the day? Is this like the Santa Claus, but with cucks?
Are we Clarencing?
Yeah. Is this the Santa Claus?
The Santa Claus of cucks.
The Santa Claus of cucks, yeah. That's what it felt like. The Shackelford's like, he still has love in his heart. He can win.
He still has love in his heart.
It's such a weird shot.
That girl from Oklahoma with the hiccups. I'll always remember her.
When he said that he killed a man back in the day, what he meant is that Robert Redford used his young dick to just fucking massacre. I did think it would have been hilarious in the movie if she had done like a Willy Wonka, and when she got back to the hotel room, she was walking like she'd been on an all-night cattle drive.
Yeah.
And he's just like, no! She's like saddlebagging her way in. Like, dear God.
I would have. That's a missed opportunity in this movie.
That would have been so fun. And then she's like,
scene.
No, I'm just kidding. He's a 68-year-old white. I'm fine. Right?
I'm all good.
Yeah. Yeah. He didn't actually break my hips. I'm fine.
It took 4 Cialis. It's all good. We're all good.
Yeah, I mean, this movie.
The mechanics to get us to the one night alone are just shocking.
Well, again, it's a perfectly laser focused film that sets the bar way too high to where there's no dilemma. And then after the fact, it's like Robert Redford's like, let me just come fuck up all these people that are trying to get their citizenship, taking time off to be in class. Let me fuck up their class. I'm going to buy her 2 dogs and that'll win her over. Meanwhile, we cut back to there's an old-ass dog that she just abandoned and doesn't give a fuck about.
She already has a dog.
Yeah, she just left that dog, so she's not in the... That is her one sin of the movie. If me and Amy Indecent Proposal, the minimum we're doing is fighting hardcore over who gets the dog.
Right.
Like, that's crazy. But...
I don't know.
The Hippo grand gesture thing at the end is weird because he does this monologue. He's like, well, I thought he was the better man. Now I just realized he was the richer man. You're like, no, he's 100% better.
No, he's still the better man.
Woody Harrelson has that great teaching moment. I love that scene. Classic Adrian Lyne, beautifully shot, projected light scene. And it's just this, even a brick aspires, right? Fucking love that beat.
Great.
And it's like, yeah, Woody Harrelson's a brick that aspires. Okay, well, most people want to live in fucking Notre Dame and not just hold a brick.
Your weird sex dungeon Santa Monica house.
Yeah. I'm sorry, right? You and Aleister Crowley would love living in that house, but, she's going to get this dick on the Griffin. It is kind of, the second half of the movie does not work exceptionally well. But this is the thing. The movie's cast so well. I think the acting, the writing's still sharp, even if it It's just kind of a premise that can never manifest.
There is like one sin of the movie for me, and it's like
the adaptation.
That voiceover thing is
voiceover.
Just. It's not even like this is like one of the few movies where I'm like, oh, that doesn't work for me, because I think voiceover's fine. I don't give a shit, but the voiceover in this movie, I do not like voiceover that just tells me what's on screen like that. I'm like, I'm watching the movie. I'm good.
Yeah, well, okay, because Woody Harrelson in his final diatribe, he does this line, I thought we were invincible, but I realized that couples who make it in marriage, it's not because they forget, it's because they forgive. And you just go, wait, forgive what?
Forgive what? You're the one who needs the
Forgive
forgiveness.
you. You're the one throwing wine bottles. Yeah, she doesn't need to be forgiven. You do,
that
motherfucker.
Is some sexist ass.
So this is why you have to have these monologue moments where Demi Moore can just inject and be like, hey, hi, this guy's a fucking idiot. Like, hey, hi, it's me. The only person making
the
good
only
choices
person
in the
who
movie.
made the actual deal. He is a piece of shit for saying that I have to forgive him.
Yeah, if and Robert Redford's like, well, she'd never look at me that way, so I'll let her go. All right, like these are like, it's kind of this big melodramatic like pappy crap that doesn't all the way work.
Sure,
but I think the movie rides so high on that first act, and again, it's economically insane. It doesn't live in the world we live. Like, this is the world now where none of us are going to ever have a pension. None of us ever get to retire. Yeah. We don't know if we're going to be able to have free elections in 4 years. Like, we're all on the verge of this kind of like Mad Max society where we just trade off of what we have. Like, we're on the verge of this, right?
Yeah.
We're all taking the money. And I will say, for a movie that asks a basic question where 98% of people would take that money. Oh, everyone would take that money, and everyone's wife and husband would be hotter to them if they were like, we got $1 million out of this. Fuck yeah, dude. Like, if Amy came home with $1 million, we would just be going at it nonstop for like 2 weeks. We'd be like, this is great. We're fucking millionaires, dude. This is great. Hey, remember that stress about like, our future? Gone. Like, we're pretty cool. We can set a nest egg for the rest. So, again, the movie asks a really dumb question at its core. But it asks it in this really cinematic and beautiful way. It's acted exceptionally well. And then the second half is paying off this, like, well, we want it to be really a love story.
Right. The second half pays off this movie that doesn't exist in the first half. Yeah. And you're just like, I don't get it.
Well, this movie should have been more Wall Street and less The Notebook. Yeah, like, this is agreed as good movie, right? And the movie's right. Because at the end, even when he gives away the $1 million on a hippo, which again, this is the putting it all on red thing. This is what a
proof.
Fucking stupid idiot that I met in high school.
Worst gamblers.
She should never have gone back to him just for the hippo thing. It's fucking ridiculous, right? Like, you gave the body for the money, and then eventually the movie tries to do this, oh, you wish you hated me, and she likes him all along? That was a fucking weird choice. So they give up the money, so they get nothing except their property, which now is worth tens of millions of dollars. So they did win in the end.
Right.
They did win in the end. But it's a movie that I think what's fascinating about it is, again, like you said, it went gangbusters in theater. People loved this movie. Huge. There's no drama in the film. It is a foregone conclusion that you're going to take that million.
It's very forced dramatic moments because it's not, there are just things that you set up there's things you set up in that first half of the movie that don't logically pan out at all. Like, it's just one of those things where, and it's not even like, oh, this is not how normal people act. It's not that at all. It's within the logic of your movie. You're watching a movie that has like no consideration for the story you've put together already. It's like, hang on, these people agreed to this. It's okay to have like misgivings afterwards, but like, you get
their
that
lawyer
once.
Literally wrote a contract that said Robert Redford might be impotent or die during his erotic
just wants to spend
exertion.
The night with your wife. That's it. Yeah. So you don't have
They think it out enough to where the 68-year-old white dude might Gerald's game her.
Right.
But they don't think about a world where Woody Harrelson's like, she might like the billionaire.
The moral indignation is sort of just moot. Like, again, it's one of those things where, especially that scene, which is a good scene of like two people fighting in a movie. Yeah. but the precipice for it is so stupid. You're just like, I hope she leaves right now. Like you're just like at that. There's a point in the movie where you're like, I hope she never sees Woody Harrelson again. Because she's acting like such a piece of shit.
She fucking shouldn't. And this is the thing. At the end, when they go to this like foggy pier, and it has this kind of surreal, ethereal tone, right? Like it's just something that's not real. Yeah. And they never have this like cathartic coming back together and hugging and like they're holding hands over a barrier as if they'll never be the same. Which that's what the movie wants to say. That's fine. It's a good image. And it just goes, "Have I ever told you I love you?" No.
Oh, it's that thing that they say over and over again.
And then it's like still forever. All right, fine. Like that's they wrote that in the script. That's a good little like catch line. Fine.
Yeah. It's a good rule of three.
Basic
nice.
Thing is, it's fucking Woody Harrelson, shut the fuck up. Your wife got offered $1 million. It's her choice. Shut the
you
fuck
up. You got in Vegas, you got a get out of jail free card. You're taking it. Like it's like stop.
After you made the wrong choice, after you made the wrong choice times in a row,
and bet it all on red or black. Like you have the money you need, and you decide to bet it not on card games that like not
they
on like
were
black,
up $25,000 and could have just left.
Not on like poker or blackjack, which both have like some skill. You decide craps and roulette are the two games you're going to
I'll tell you this, the economic anxiety of the movie where it's like we have no choice but to just gamble and do wild shit is exactly why we live in a world now where people sell themselves online all the time. Because they're like, you know what? I'm going to fucking take control of my destiny. And if my butthole's worth money online, that shit's going on. If I thought anyone on earth would pay for my naked body, do you think I'd work 40 hours a week at a normal job if I could make tens of thousands of dollars just rolling around my bed naked?
Thousands of dollars a month just like sitting on kicks. Yeah, that's my life.
This is where the movie would be more interesting, is if he had just said, "Oh, you need $50,000? I'll give you $50,000 to fuck your wife right now." Yeah. Now you got it
specifically to fuck your wife, not to like spend a night with her.
Yeah, like none of this gentleman bullshit. Just I'm here to fuck your wife, and I'll give you just the amount you need. Nothing
I'll give you
for
the exact
future.
Amount of money you need.
Then it's a way better movie because this is the thing. I think even our parents in the '90s who kept going to watch this movie and renting it a ton, they all know they're taking the $1 million. Every single person
$1 million
who's not an insane fucking Bible thumper is taking the money.
$1 million is such a shocking get out of jail free card. You're just like, what's the hesitation at all?
Yeah, but the hesitation is that Woody Harrelson and her would talk, and he goes, you know there's a chance that when he starts putting the fucking billionaire game on you, you might just say, ooh, I kind of like flying in a helicopter. Ooh, I kind of like fucking on a yacht. And that she's going to just choose to be that guy's wife or girlfriend.
Sure.
All right. Well, that's her prerogative, man. Like she's worth X amount. And
they do give her enough agency to say like she's the one who wants to make the decision. Like
and she's like you can have the money because she did do it for him. She's like you can have the money. Because
like it starts in this that whole like let me borrow your wife thing. It's like he's like, well, it's up to her. And I'm like, yeah, obviously this guy doesn't have any concept of permission. Clearly, like he's just a guy who gets what he wants.
I'm just saying, I actually think this movie is really good. Like I do enjoy it. I think it's very well made film.
I mean, I think it's fine.
It's just there's almost I don't even know what it's. It's not. It's a Wonderful Life for cucks, because there is this foregone conclusion to every moment in the movie.
Yeah.
Where there is no kind of stakes or drama. You know exactly what's going to happen in every beat. This is pretty much the most by-the-books version of the logline guy wants to pay to fuck your wife movie that's ever been made.
Right.
Like, you know shot for shot what's
You know how
coming.
I'd liken it? You know how
Except for the Hippo thing. That did legitimately catch me off guard.
Sure. There's always one that'll get you. Like, I mean, like... You know how I just if there
Billy
was like
Connolly, a checkbook makes a great umbrella. Fucking Billy Connolly, dude. What Billy a fucking all-time legend, by the way.
He's
Shouts out.
So good. And he's
him and Billy Bob and fucking Oliver Platt. Like this movie, casting director, fucking MVP.
I love Billy Connolly in movies because he shows up in so many shitty movies and makes them infinitely more entertaining. I was just watching Timeline, which is not good and so entertaining to watch because of him, as he talks like this the whole movie.
He's so good.
He's so good. I think if you were going to, it's like when we go see Marvel movies, they're pretty paint by numbers and easy to figure out. If there was like a Marvel Cinematic Universe of cuck movies, this would be like the Iron Man. Be like, that's a blueprint. Got it. Thank you.
Well, at least even in like Civil War, you're like, it's pretty dumb that Cap and Iron Man are like, let's punch each other at an airport.
Yeah.
Instead of like, they're bonded over fighting an alien threat that tried to kill New York, and they can't legitimately have a conversation.
Again, this is the movies.
But
there's so many
even Marvel where it's
this.
like we can't just talk out the Wachovia Accord, and they're like, let's go fight at baggage claim. That's fucking stupid.
Yes.
But in the universe of the movie, I'm like, I at least understand it, right?
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is
insane.
It's insane, but at least within the logic of the movie, there are some hallmarks of at least, okay, these people at least know they're insane. It's really just Woody Harrelson. Woody Harrelson is in a different movie. That's what's going on.
Yeah, he's doing like some. Oh, you just were running like
Woody Harrelson's doing like Streetcar Named Desire
Justin
shit.
Timberlake in Black Snake Moan. That's the role he thinks he's playing.
I'll give you that. Yeah, that makes sense.
Where he's like Christina Ricci's like a sex demon possessed monster that he's got to chain up, and you're like, no, she's a lady who did the thing everyone would do.
Yeah.
And he thinks he's in some other fucking wild-ass sex thriller. A different Adrian Lynn movie than this.
Yeah. He's like trying to get to 9.5 weeks, but that's not the movie.
I was also thinking this. I was like, is there anyone on Earth in the history of mankind you would pay $1 million to fuck?
No.
Like, what if he gets that money? He gives her the money because he saw her fucking crushing chocolates. And then she's one of those, like, just fucking, like, is this the thing? It doesn't say in the contract she's got to try hard. Like, if I was her, I'd just lay on the bed and say, fucking, all right, pound on me. Who would you pay $1 million to fuck? I couldn't even.
I'm going to tell you, I really don't think it has anything to do. This movie is about power and the dynamics that it.
Right.
The dynamics that
we're so cheap to him that like an obscene amount of money is nothing.
It's just,
I'm just saying, even if I was a billionaire, $1 million, like he's in Vegas, he can go get a fucking high class pro, three of them.
There is no one. Yeah, you can
for
get some
fractions.
You can get a very professional lady of the night in Vegas for much less than $1 million.
Job is to throw ass.
Yeah, if you want the girlfriend experience, like that's available for sure.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. There are people that are pros at sex, and then it's like, but what he really is doing is, I think they are playing it as this Beauty and the Beast. He'll capture her with his wealth until she realizes he has a library and fall in love with him. That's the movie we're doing.
I think that's the movie they're trying to do, but again,
because he can fuck everyone, as he keeps reminding us, he wants her.
Again, but
there's a wholesomeness to the chocolate thief that he wants to penetrate.
The Robert Redford of it all, he shouldn't be like. I read online this was supposed to be originally. This was meant for Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman with Warren Beatty. I'm like, I would not have bought Warren Beatty as a guy who has $1 million.
He's not as smooth. He kind of is Warren Beatty.
I guess
he got creepier. Like now he's at like full bizarre creepy. But
93's Dick Tracy Warren Beatty, so would would work.
It would have worked. Tom Cruise is, way
this
hotter.
Is the thing. I was talking with a friend of mine. This is the thing, though, because I had a buddy over who, when I was watching the movie, like stopped by. He's like, "What are you watching?" I'm like, "Indecent Proposal." And I was talking. I was like, "There's supposed to be Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise." I'm like, "This is the fallacy, and this is why Tom Cruise doesn't work in that, because now no one in the known universe would look at Tom Cruise in 1993, which is like, post Days of Thunder, Top Gun, Tom Cruise, who's like on the up and up hot dude, and go like." Well, that guy, I don't know how he's going to deal with him. Like, excuse me,
that he's 7 inches shorter than his wife.
That motherfucker could get plucked from obscurity, become an underwear model, and that would be the end of it right there. Like, I'm sorry, it just makes that one makes no sense. Woody Harrelson, at least you could buy. He probably has no other.
It's going to cost you $1.1 million, 5% to Xenu, and I'm going to jerk off in the corner and choke myself. And Redford just goes, Jesus Christ.
Oh, my God. How did I find these? Oh, God.
Now that's a way more interesting
movie.
version of the movie. You got to flip it on the millionaire and be like, oh, you're going to give me $1 million? I got some clauses.
See, that's the thing. Now, 2023 Indecent Proposal is someone proposes, like, yeah, sure, no problem. But can I jerk off in the corner? And like, oh, my God.
Demi Moore's like, Jesus. I can't even open my lips unless you eat ass. And Robert Redford's like, you eat ass? I was born in the Great Depression. Gross. Even we didn't eat ass, and we were starving to death. Ew. Right? Like, you kids are wild now.
I'm telling you. You guys are going ass to mouth before anything? My God, no way.
Can you please take off the creepy kimono I laid out for you and exit the Griffin? No. This is actually a primed for remake movie right here.
They're trying to. I read online they tried in like 2018. You could do it in 2023. It'd be cool.
You could make this movie. It would be interesting to see how it changes in the world we live in now, where we're all willing to sell ourselves for way less than $1 million.
If anything, it makes it an even more interesting movie now. So
that's what I'm saying. If you do it for $10,000, now you've got some drama.
All right. Well, I'll wait for the Misfit Parade adaptation.
Yeah, that's right. I'm writing it right now.
There you go.
And the other thing is like, you have to fucking chain me up in the corner and clamp my nips so I can fucking scream fight songs from college football games while you're fucking my wife. And he's like, what? I don't know.
What?
We all have our things. That's not a thing of mine. That was just a fucking wonderful improv. That's not a thing of mine. That's it for Indecent Proposal. That's it for the first month of the year and our New Year's resolutions. I hope you are enjoying being back with the show. Please go check us out on all the socials. We do TikTok now, where you can find clips of the show that are easy to share with your friends and family, which we appreciate big time, guys. This year is about growth by any means. So make sure you're subscribing everywhere you find pods. Make sure you leave ratings and reviews. The YouTube, subscribe over there. Also, we really would appreciate it if you could go to patreon.com/filmalchemistpod. Even a pledge of $1 a month helps us out, I assure you. Thank you guys for your time. I hope your New Year's off to a great start. We're having a great time hanging out with you. For the Film Alchemist, I'm Josh Griffey.
I am Alex Dandino.